in the actual game, and then I'll try.
Yeah, there was just something like it couldn't do the 3D and all colors, so it was red, and
yeah.
Part of why it was such a pain to stare at, because it's just stark contrast, bright red and black.
Wait, listen to those sounds! Holy gosh!
Have you
I love old sounding video game music like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
No, have you ever played one of them, Toast? Virtual War?
Oh, I think I played. Wow, that's loud. I think I played it back when it was kind of a new thing, but not like anybody owned it. I think I played it like at a Walmart or something.
Yeah, same deal.
Yeah. But what's interesting about it, listen, I'm such a nerd. I listen to so many like video game podcasts and stuff like that, just because all that stuff really interests me. It really is. But the Virtual Boy was actually designed, and the whole idea was by Gunpei Yokoi, which he's the same guy who not only designed the original Game Boy, he designed Metroid, Kid Icarus, all those kind of games. And the neat thing about it, the whole idea of Nintendo stuff like that, and what Gunpei Yokoi, his whole idea was taking old technology that's like withered technology, like not in use anymore, and repurposing it. Yeah. So like you can build cheap stuff that fits it. That's like the whole idea of the Game Boy. Yep. Is that you have these old cheap chips from video game stuff that doesn't, nobody's going to use anymore, and then you remake it into something new. Not only is it so cheap, but you get a bigger, more out of it.
Yep. And it's good. Also, doesn't cost so much. Like that was why the Game Boy sold. That's one of the reasons why the Game Boy sold so much better than the Game Gear, because the Game Gear was in color, and they always push that. Oh, Game Gear's in color, but it also took like 6 batteries and it ran out within like an hour.
So, but that's the thing. Like, the interesting thing about Gunpei Yokoi and the Virtual Boy was that at first he kind of wanted it to be. Is it shaken? The stream looks like it's shaking.
I think they're trying to move it around.
But the interesting thing about that was that the whole Virtual Boy thing, like Gunpei Yokoi had a bigger idea for it. Like he wanted it to be all in color. He had all these different ideas for it. But to do it in a cheaper way, it would have to be like all red like this and have this weird setup. And so it didn't really work out like his vision intended. So it was one of those ideas where it's like the idea was nice and it was a good thing. It was just one of those. It was a guy who did so well. And then, and then he just kind of had that misstep. But it was also kind of because it just didn't, fit with what Nintendo was thinking and what he was thinking.
He was also kind of pressured to come up, because he came up with the Game Boy and that sold like crazy, and so he's kind of pressured to come up with the next big thing, and then he's like, 3D goggles!
Yeah.
This is weird.
No kidding.
There's some black bars.
Yeah, that's the scan lines. I don't think you guys are going to be able to do much about that. So it's just like recording stuff, like similar to recording stuff off a TV. I mean, that's what happens when you do that. Get those scan lines.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are sad or not. They're kind of like, this is the kind of bad looking video. But I mean, it's not any fault of ours. It's just.
It's the capture rate. You can't.
I know.
These like massive frames per second.
There's nothing you can really do about it. It's just like
Well, recording stuff on a TV, super killer. I just mean like if you ever see old home movies where a TV's in the background, it's gonna have these. It's just what happens.
Pearls before swine. HD camera on a Virtual Boy. It's like what Chase said. Guys, this is video game history.